Hey guys, Tracy here with the House of Chuckles, and today I would like to do a review and comparison of some of the jumbo bicycle cards that have come out over the years. So to begin with, there is a deck that I don't have. I need to someday add it to my collection, but I believe it's the original jumbo bicycle deck. Okay, so let's talk about that one first. To my knowledge, it came out in the late 60s, early 70s. It was a deck that was made by U.S. Playing Cards here in the USA, and looks pretty much exactly like this one, other than it doesn't say Big Bicycle at the top. I believe it just says something like Bicycle Playing Cards. On the side of the original one, it would have said made in the USA, and you can see this one says made in China down there at the bottom. The cards themselves are not quite double thickness of a regular deck of playing cards. It's about, I would say about maybe 1.5 to 1 3/4 thickness of a regular deck of playing cards. So these were definitely on a heavier stock. And we'll get to a comparison here in a minute. So they started with the US, then they went to China, then they wanted to take control back, and they came back to the US. And they came out with one that they went from a Big Bicycle to Big Box. Okay, and this one came out in 2012. Yeah, 2012, and again, it was made in the USA. And then 5 years later, and I should mention that the cardstock went to the exact same thickness, or pretty dang close to a standard deck of playing cards. Okay. Then 5 years later, in 2017, they came out with the one it says Big Box, but they added the French onto it as well. I am guessing that was to help market it to Canada, so the French Canadians. That's just a guess. I know that Bicycle is connected with both the US and Canada pretty strongly, so that is a guess on why they added the French at the bottom. And hey, if you guys have more information, please share. I'm not a exact pro, even though I've been doing cards for quite some time. I opened my first magic shop in 1982, so I have a little knowledge, but I'm not exact perfect. Anyhow, these two decks here, so we went US, China, US, China. They are both, the last two versions are both the same size as a standard deck of cards. The same thickness, okay? Now, let's get into a comparison of the cards themselves. Again, I don't have the first one, but let's go with the Big Bicycle. I want to talk about boxes first, okay? This was a good sturdy box and it held up well. The US box, not so good. This seam here on a lot, see right there? I mean, I was just able to pull it apart really easy. The gluing on the box is horrible. And most of the time when I get the cards in, they're like this. And, so if you get a deck, you probably want to maybe find some contact glue or double adhesive tape or something, stick in between there and glue it back together, because the box is not that great. When they came back out with this one, this is a good box. It's put together well, holds up well. So I like the box, other than the hang tag on it. I'm not thrilled about that, but I guess if you're careful, you could cut that off if it bothered you. But the box itself is a lot better. It's not falling apart like this one. Now let's talk about the cards. So we'll pull out some cards. We'll pull the cards out. I'm going to put the boxes aside for a minute. or maybe I'll just put them down here so you guys can see what they are. Okay. So let's take a look at the backs. Okay. Right off the get-go, you might be able to tell that on the older version that was made in China, that the coloring is not all that great. It's not true to the bicycle color of red. You know, let me pull one of these out so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So you can see that the color red on the newer version is much closer to just a standard bicycle card. Okay, this particular card is quite a bit darker in color. Okay, so that's one difference. Now again, we talked about thickness, where this is about 1.5, 1 3/4 thicker than you know, a standard card. So these are a little thinner. You know, we'll do this as a good comparison, so you can see with the force of the two cards, the flexibility on these. These are, you know, about the same. So, you know, these were definitely thicker. Let's go into, I just want to go into fanning the cards. Okay, so fanning these, the older style, they fanned really well. I've never been really impressed with the way that these fan. They clump, so they don't fan out very well. And when I first got these, I thought they're a little bit better, but still clumpy, so they still don't fan out all that great. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're making your purchase. Let's talk about corners. This one here, I really like the corners, because if you were to take a card and you were to blow it up, you get a wider corner. The one before it and the one after it, they have these tight corners which are the same as a standard card. Okay, so you follow me on the corners. You can see. So I really did like the corners on the one that was put out in 2012. Let's talk about the face colors. Okay, so years ago, there's your queen. Let's pull out the same one. So the queen that was made in China on the thicker cards versus the newer style. You can see that the colors of the queen are quite different. In fact, if you look at the yellows, let me find the queen on this one. So, interesting. Remember, this one here was made in the USA, and the yellow from Bicycle is kind of a dark mustard type, darker yellow, and the newer one made out of China is more, I would say, more to the original yellow. Okay, that would be pretty much my review and comparison. I really did like the thickness of the older cards. I like the corner of the deck that came out in 2012. And I like the coloring of the new ones in 2017. So if we could get this color with the old style, the corners with the old style, and keep the big thickness, That would be my ideal jumbo deck. But anyhow, there it is. Keep in mind, if you're ordering any decks from me from here on out, most likely they are going to be the newer version of the big box, the French, US French version. And there it is, my friends. You guys have a great day. If you have any questions, or definitely if you have any more information to share, I'd love for you to leave me the comments and let me know what you know. So, you guys have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.